I don't know. I think I'm really still learning. I I don't consider myself to be one of those great artists.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm still developing my style. I I'm not very happy with my current style actually.
Really?
Yeah, I changed my style several years ago, right?
Hmm.
Before that, I was mostly I did mostly a Pentley style, and
Mm-hmm.
I switched to this cartoony style that I do right now. But still, I don't like it that much. I think somehow I need to combine those two directions, and
Yeah.
haven't figured out how to do that.
You mean combine the digital, the really clean digital stuff with.
Yeah, the clean and the messy style, and somehow meeting between.
Okay.
I'd be experimenting, but still, yeah. When you get into the habit, it's very difficult to change.
What kind of stuff have you been doing to experiment? Oops. What kind of stuff have you been doing?
Uh, for example, I in January. Oh my God, it's May already.
Yeah.
At this time, oh, it's crazy. Yeah, in January, there was a 30-day challenge, right?
Yeah, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I was experimenting with style, with different styles, and otherwise just do some quick exercises. Yeah. Also in live drawing, I try to break my habit.
Mm-hmm.
It comes easy to me to draw. I draw fast and I draw with ease. Of course, as I said, I found out this style that doesn't require too much focus. It's a clean cookie cutting style, but I'm gonna go with it for a while until I feel like I'm in my studios and I can exaggerate and I can interpret and find.
Yeah. And being honest with himself, because this is his main issue, not being honest. He would, when he has someone, at live gigs, and there is this person with a physical problem,
physical difficulty.
he will try to make them quicker,
Mm.
to manage.
So I don't go for the obvious. Yeah, it's bad.
Or
like you
if
did with
an
the
older,
guy.
an older person who has wrinkles or something, he will
Ignore some of them,
ignore some of the. And I was like, no, put
Go
the
there,
wrinkles
go there.
on, because it's the likeness.
But
factor.
this lack of honesty is gonna eat me if I don't do.
Yeah.
If I don't go to it pretty soon,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can't lie to yourself. You can't give up wrinkles. You can't give up deformity or something just because you fear of rejection. Because you're gonna feel like you're giving up. You feel like you're not being true, so it's gonna eat you alive.
Yeah.
On the inside, it's gonna come as a surprise one day. You're gonna give up caricatures just because you couldn't go for it when it was the time. So
crack the issue.
Honesty, and find out for yourself why you like caricature.
This is his call to adventure.
And yeah, people teaching me how to paint and draw and color and just working next to an artist, and I think that's like the best way that I learn is like by application. So like you're doing something, you're watching something, and you're applying it, and it makes a lot of sense to me that way.
Mm-hmm.
But still, always tends to learn.
Yeah, I think that's like that even if you get into the industry, that people, you get into a company and then you get taught like most of what you know from that company or from the people who are working with you.
School, it was a weed out project to see who could do it. You had to draw 200 fish, and they all had to be different, and you had to do it in 2 days.
Mm.
And it was just one of those things where it was like, who was really dedicated enough to do this and not be like, this is stupid, we're just drawing fish. Because that type of work ethic where like you stay up all weekend just drawing cartoon fish over and over again and making sure that each one is unique, that is a big part of being a professional illustrator.
I guess I'm wondering also, like, what was it, like, what was going through your mind, or how were you feeling about when you saw these, like, really crazy exaggerations? Some of them are just wacky for the sake of being wacky, but then some of them are actually really well constructed. I mean, there's some artists out there that really stretch it and they really have things kind of lined up properly. or they make sense somehow, even though they're like almost surrealist kind of caricatures. What was your feeling on that, or what do you think about that?
Well, I really enjoy seeing that kind of thing when it's super well done. When people do that, it's a super big risk. Like the risk of failure, I think, increases tenfold when you do such extreme exaggerations. And I'm talking about stuff with like, there's one eyeball up here, there's a nose that stretches diagonally down across the page, and the other eyeball's down there, and it's a deconstruction of the face. It's not. You're not really going for a likeness, but if it's recognizable as the subject, that's still a success. But I think caricatures that have a strong quote-unquote likeness, I like looking at those a little bit better, because I will see people who do these crazy abstract exaggerations, and honestly, I don't know who it is. Once they tell you who it is, you can see it, and you're like, oh, yeah, I can see it now. I can decipher that amongst all the shapes you've designed.
Yeah.
And so in that way, it is a success, but if I didn't know who that person was ahead of time, a lot of times I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
And it's just saying, like I said, you can definitely try to do that, and there are people that do it well, some people that do it not so well, and people that do it well don't necessarily do it well consistently.
Yeah.
But that's what their mindset is. That's what their that's what makes them excited about art, and that's totally cool.
Yeah.
And I don't think I have a 100% success rate, not by a long shot, when I draw a caricature, even my relatively mild exaggeration. I do a lot of pre-sketching sometimes. Some celebrities or subjects give me such difficulty that I try all sorts of different methods. And that's actually how I came up with a lot of my advanced lessons in my Croco course on how to approach the face in different ways, like looking for the spirit animal, or looking for drawing two people side by side, or trying to do a digital painting with no lines. And that might give me a better exaggeration or a better likeness. So I see. Those are just things that were born out of my frustrations, not being able to get a likeness the traditional way. I would think of other ways to trick my brain into getting a good exaggeration by switching to my methodology and my goals. I do memory sketching, where like, okay, I've tried drawing this celebrity 30 times. Every one of these sucks. So now this guy's face is burned into my memory. Let's put the photo aside and just draw completely from memory. And I'm like, oh man, I got it. Because I was drawing more from my memory rather than observation. So stuff like that.
There is one thing that a good artist says, that when you receive good critiques and they say, wow, you are the best of the best, say thank you and don't believe it. Yeah. And someone that says to just the opposite, like, oh, this is shit, why are you doing this? Say thank you and don't believe it.